যে আনিল প্রেম ধন করুণা প্রচুর 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 হেন প্রভু কোথা গেলা আর্ষজ ঠাকুর হেন প্রভু কোথা গেলা আর্ষজ ঠাকুর হেন প্রভু কোথা গেলা আর্ষজ ঠাকুর হেন প্রভু কাহা মোর স্বরূপ রূপা কাহা সনাতন কাহা মোর স্বরূপ রূপা কাহা মোর স্বরূপ রূপা কাহা সনাতন কাহা মোর স্বরূপ রূপা কাহা সনাতন কাহা দাস রঘুনাথ পতিত পাবন কাহা দাস কাহা দাস রঘুনাথ পতিত পাবন কাহা মোর ভট্ট যুগ কাহা কবিরা কাহা মোর ভট্ট যুগ কাহা কবিরা এক কালে কোথা গেলা গোরা নাটরা এক কালে এক কালে কোথা গেলা গোরা নাটরা পাশানে কুটিব মাথা অনলে পশিব পাশানে কুটিব মাথা অনলে পশিব গৌরাঙ্গ গুণের নিধি কোথা গেলে পাব গৌরাঙ্গ গৌরাঙ্গা গুণের নিধি কোথা গেলে পাব সেসব সঙ্গীর সঙ্গে যে কইলা বিলাস সেসব সেসব সঙ্গীর সঙ্গে যে কইলা বিলাস সেসব সঙ্গীর সঙ্গে সে সঙ্গ না পাইয়া কান্দে নরোত্তম দাস সে সঙ্গ না পাইয়া কান্দে নরোত্তম দাস জিয়া নিল প্রেম ধন করুণা প্রচুর জিয়া নিল প্রেম ধন করুণা প্রচুর জিয়া নিল প্রেম ধন করুণা প্রচুর है ना प्रभु कोथा गेला हर्षज ठाकुर है ना है ना प्रभु कोथा गेला हर्षज ठाकुर है ना प्रभु
नष्टप्रायेषु अवधेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी So, reading this morning, this is Ekadasi appearance today in the land of Lord Prithavu. reading Srimad Bhagavatam, as Canto, Chapter 2, Divinity in a Divine Service. Text number 12. Please respond. Sardhadhana Munayo Tas Sardhadhana Munayo Tas Sardhadhana Munayo Jnana Vairagya Yuktaya Jnana Vairagya Yuktaya Jnana Vairagya Yuktaya Pasyanti Atmani Chatmanam Pasanti Atmani Chatmanam Pasanti Atmani Chatmanam Bhaktya Shruta Grihitaya Bhaktya Shruta Grihitaya Bhaktya Shruta Grihitaya. Translation quoted by Divine Sri Prabhupada. The seriously inquisitive student or sage, when equipped with knowledge and detachment, realizes that absolute truth by rendering devotional service in terms of what he has heard from the Vedanta Shruti. Purport. The absolute truth is realized in full by the process of devotional service to the Lord. Vasudeva, or the personality of Godhead, is the full-fledged absolute truth. Brahman is his transcendental bodily effulgence, and Paramatma is his partial representation. As such, Brahman or Paramatma realization of the absolute truth is but a partial realization. There are 4 different types of human beings: the karmis, the jnanis, the yogis, and the devotees. The karmis are materialistic, whereas the other 3 are transcendental. The first class transcendentalists are the devotees who have realized the Supreme Person. The second class transcendentalists are those who have partially realized the plenary portion of the Absolute Person. And the third class transcendentalists are those who have barely realized the spiritual focus of the Absolute Person. As stated in the Bhagavad-Gita and other Vedic literatures, the Supreme Person is realized by devotional service. It is backed by full knowledge and detachment from material association. We have already discussed the point that devotional service is followed by knowledge and detachment from material association. As Brahman and Paramatma realization are imperfect realizations of the Absolute Truth, so the means of realizing Brahman and Paramatma, that is, the paths of Jnana and the Yoga, are also imperfect means of realizing the Absolute Truth. Devotional service, which is based on the foreground of full knowledge, combined with detachment from material association, and which is fixed by the oral reception of the Vedanta Shruti, is the only perfect method by which the seriously inquisitive student can realize the Absolute Truth. Devotional service is not, therefore, made for the less intelligent class of transcendentalists. There are 3 classes of devotees, namely first, second, and third class. The third class devotees, or the neophytes, who have no knowledge and are not detached from material association, but who are simply attracted by the preliminary process of worshipping the deity in the temple, are called material devotees. Material devotees are more attached to material benefit than transcendental profit. Therefore, one has to make definite progress from the position of material devotional service to the second-class devotional position. In the second-class position, the devotee can see four principles in the devotional line, namely the personality of Godhead, His devotees, the ignorant and the envious. One has to raise himself at least to the stage of a second-class devotee and thus become eligible to know the absolute truth. A third-class devotee, therefore, has to receive the instructions of devotional service from the authoritative sources of Bhagavata. The number one Bhagavata is the established personality of devotee, and the other Bhagavatam is the message of Godhead. The third-class devotee, therefore, has to go to the personality of devotee in order to learn the instructions of devotional service. As a personality of devotee is not a professional man who earns his livelihood by the business of Bhagavatam. As a devotee must be a representative of Sukadeva Goswami, like Sutta Goswami, and must preach the cult of devotional service for the all-around benefit of all people. A neophyte devotee has very little taste for hearing from the authorities. As a neophyte devotee makes a short hearing from a professional man to satisfy his senses. This sort of hearing and chanting has spoiled the whole thing. So one should be very careful about the faulty process. The holy messages of Godhead, as inculcated in the Bhagavad-Gita or in the Srimad Bhagavatam, are undoubtedly transcendental subjects. But even though they are so, as the transcendental matters are not to be received from the professional man, who spoils them as the serpent spoils milk simply by the touch of his tongue. A sincere devotee must therefore be prepared to hear the Vedic literature like the Upanishads, Vedanta and other literatures left by the previous authorities or Goswamis for the benefit of his progress. Without hearing such literatures, one cannot make actual progress. And without hearing and following the instructions, the soul of devotional service becomes worthless, and therefore a sort of disturbance in the path of devotional service. Unless therefore devotional service is established on the principles of Shruti, Smriti, Purana and the Pancharantra authorities, the make show of devotional service should at once be rejected, and an unauthorized devotee should never be recognized as a pure devotee. By assimilation of such messages in Vedic literatures, one can see the all-pervading localized aspect of the personality of Godhead within his own self constantly. This is called Samadhi. Jai Gopal Prabhupada ki Jai. Guru Prabhupada. Hare Krishna. So first of all, I would like to thank all our devotees who have arranged this very auspicious visit here in the land of Vittal, Wonderful. So I'd like to thank all our devotees who have arranged this program, and also I'd like to thank our Sanatan Prabhuji, who is here as the ISKCON president. That we developed a very nice temple in the future. So sometimes when you plan things, things don't happen as you wanted to, but we should all take that to see the Lord's blessings, and so we may encounter some difficulties here and there, but we should all take it as the blessings of the Lord, so that we can make some progress in our humble attempt in this devotional journey. So one of the nicest things, especially, is that to get the association of the Vaishnavas, not so easy to always have this arrangement that we associate each other in the part of devotional service, because everyone is busy in so many different ways. But somehow, by the blessings of Guru Maharaj Prabhupada, and also by the blessings of the Vaishnavas, now sometimes we get this opportunity. And therefore we should take it that these are the blessings coming, by the mercy of the Vaishnavas, and also by the mercy of Guru Maharaj Prabhupada. Now here, the discussion about the divinity in the divine service, about the what type of devotee, what type of person comes to devotional service. So, our process, Krishna conscious process, is Prabhupada used to say that he wanted to train some of the highest Brahminical class of men in this mission, Krishna consciousness mission. So that was, but today what happens is that there has been so much disturbance, and because of the influence of the modes of material nature, that people are not so much inclined toward practicing sincere devotional service. In other words, people are so much engrossed with the sense, this enjoying mentality. So even just at the point of coming to devotional service, the influence of sense enjoying capacity is so strong that sometimes it's not so easy. Just about coming at the point of devotional service, that the sense enjoying capacity is so strong that it causes disturbance. So therefore, it is very important that how to get strength of devotional service. So we come to the holy dance. Only the pastimes of the Supreme Lord. The Lord comes in different forms as avatar, but the purpose is to enlighten and to guide the sincere souls. So when you come to the holy dance like here, that just by associating the devotees and also by getting the blessings, seeking the blessings of the Supreme Lord, that our internal, that energy gets strength. And so in this way, one can carry on in devotional service. Otherwise, sometimes we get affected by the modes of material nature, and then devotional service slackens. So this is in other words, this hampers our devotional journey. So therefore, we come and we beg the blessings, make prayer for the blessings of the Lord, make prayers for the blessings of Dham, and in this way, one can get inspiration and strength to go on in our devotional service. So this is the primary purpose of having darshan of the holy dhams, and so we should therefore try to make sincere prayer so that our devotional service is not hampered by the influence of the modes of material nature. Consider there are 4 classes of men. Prabhupada explains in this purport that these classes of men are there as the karmis, jnanis, the yogis, and the devotees. So we want to learn the devotional art, devotional science. But unless we get an association of the devotees, then it is not so easy to come to the devotional platform. So, of course, the pastimes of Lord Mittal, I think there may be many who know more about. But here Prabhupada mentions here very quickly in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, and this maybe those. This is in the Madhulila on chapter 9, you see on text number 282. Tatahide Pandapure Aila Gaura Chandra Vito Thakur Deki Paila Ananda. Translation. From there, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to Pandapur, where he happily saw the temple of Vitala Thakur. So, purport as a short purport, the city of Pandapur is situated on the river Bhima. And that's the river that is called Chandra and the Bhaga. It is said that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu initiated Tukaram when he visited Pandharpur, and thus Tukaram became his disciple. The Prabhupada was writing, Tukaram Acharya became very famous in the Maharashtra province, and he spread the Sankirtana movement all over the province. The Sankirtana party belonging to Tukaram is still very popular in Bombay and throughout the province of Maharashtra. Tukaram's book is known as Abhanga. His Sankirtan party exactly resembles the Gaudiya Vaishnava Sankirtan parties, for they chant the holy name of the Lord with the mridanga and the pratams. The Lord Vithaldev mentioned in this verse is the form of Lord Vishnu with two hands is Narayan. So this much is given by Prabhupada. So you can see that the people come with this tilak, and so it is also they are very sincere, and so we're very happy that could see that it's wonderful. These devotees are all over here, especially in Pandharpur. So our temple, I think, has our temple, coming up temple, ISKCON temple, I think will have a very important role to tie up together with this begging the Vitaldev's mercy and become a very powerful force. It's like in Tirupati, our temple is now becoming very nicely cooperative with the Tirupati authorities, and so a lot of things are going to happen very soon. So like that, here also, so a lot of wonderful things will happen, and so we should therefore we should broadcast that since devotees are coming from any parts of the world, they should broadcast that this temple, our Hare Krishna temple, is coming up in Pandharpur, and so they should come and have the darshan, and also we should try to help the temple. The temple projects, especially in these important holy times. So I think we should try to help whatever little resources that one has, because these are places of our pilgrimage. There are those many sincere souls who visit, and they will get tremendous benefit. And so such projects should be held by everyone, from all over. It's not just for one person's program, because generally, we know that project always takes a lot of effort, and usually financial resources and other sources. And so, but if we have this consciousness, especially the very important, like the projects, especially in the projects in the dhams, I think these are the projects which need to be supported by everyone. And so you can broadcast the glories of Vishnu, and also our project, ISKCON project, Prabhupada's project in Pandharpur, and so that because this is our first time, I think many of us for the first time visiting, you see, it requires tremendous help, and therefore that would be a very nice service for Prabhupada's mission. And coming to get the darshan is and how to inspire to serve Prabhupada's mission, and also for our own strength, spiritual strength. getting the blessings of the Supreme Lord. So in this way, the project will flourish very quickly, and the entire planet will be very much benefited. And so this morning, a few of us went for darshan early in the morning. We got up at 2:30 in the morning, and we got there before 3:30. So at the beginning, I wasn't sure we would be able to get in. But our secretary, our assistant of our Sanatan, so he was very sincere and why we say sincere effort. I will try the blessings of Little today and all of you. So we had a very nice darshan. So we are all praying for all of you for the blessings of Little today. So we kindly bless us so that we can carry on our devotional service. We had a prayer in the morning, and there was a very nice the ISKCON, and I was impressed with the sincerity of the especially the pujaris, and so we had a very nice program. I think we had some prasadam brought for all of you. There was a Chanamrita, is still there, and what is it? Those crystals, sugarcane crystals. But since today is Ekadasi, there's also some sweets that is kept aside. It was very nice. We came back around what time? 6:30, 7 o'clock. So we are out from so about 3 o'clock to 7 o'clock. So that's a very nice program. Someday I think we'll come again, and maybe next time. Actually, many people can go, but some are behind. Those who are sitting in front is only the few people. So the pujaris are very nice, and then I showed the whole Abhishekam, and I got some idea. So it was very attractive, and so I won't take too much time because we have. So I think so I was thinking that like once a year, so we fix a dham, holy dham, for our regular, let's say, yearly annual this dham yatra. So anybody has any mind for next year? And also the timing, because the timing December month seems like with the marathon and other factors, and December month seems like it's some difficulty there for everyone. And so you can have about just few words from because we're all happy again at this assembly. So anybody has any suggestion?
So I think we go to Nasik because there's going to be a Kumbh Mela, January, February.
This is for next year.
Yeah, next July, July.
Oh, July.
I think January was after Rath Yatra is the best time. January is better. Okay. This January. After Rath Yatra, Bombay Rath Yatra is always January 14th. After that, we go back to
January.
Yeah.
If you are to January in middle, okay, so the time January middle is the right time.
convenient.
Okay, so we'll plan something in January middle, and then we'll try to be a good program. Maybe with some kind of, let's see, a little more days, not just 1-2 days, maybe about so you can take a little leisurely as well as some organized classes and some good sound system and that. Everything should be well, a good bit more a little organized. That would be nice. So we'll communicate this to the email, right? And fix it. Okay, now how many of you are coming to Manipur this Triple Jubilee Festival from here? And then see, can you raise your hand? Yes. So, from 24 to 29. 24 of December. Yeah. So it's from 24 to 29. It's so on 25th is the day of our ISKCON inauguration on Christmas Day. After Prabhupada's departure, we started this temple. So that is a stage at Australia on the 25th. And so there's a special kirtan called Natsang Kirtan, Manipuri style. That is brought by, there are ladies party and men's party. The men are from different ages, younger one, middle one, old one. So there are a special kirtan is staged for all these 6 days. So it will be about, and it goes to about every day to about 11, 12, that's the problem. Osgam Kirtan is a special kirtan from all. I don't know what to say. Okay, then now I think we should go and honor the ISKCON. Yeah.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Still you are awake? Sri Sripad Maharaj ki, Sri Prabhupada ki. So this was a wonderful lecture actually in Pandharpur in 2002. So 2002 we had a Vyas Puja in Bombay Juhu temple. Then after that the devotees went for pilgrimage to Pandharpur. So this was from that Srimad Bhagavad in the morning. So we'll begin with a glorification now. So those who are just coming out, so we'll go with those devotees, and so those who are coming in the latter, so we'll take care of them later. So I'll begin with His Holiness Atmanivedana Swami. So Maharaj can introduce, and I can speak some of the past type of Sripad Maharaj. And because he has been long time associated with Maharaj, so we can hear from Maharaj. Then we'll see some other guests.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. This is just to wake you up, because just like you, I am also sometimes feeling a little drowsy due to lack of oxygen in this room and the heat. So we have to all stay awake now. In Krishna consciousness, it's very important that we be attentive to any activities which we are performing. This is of course mentioned by Bhaktivinoda Thakur as the 11th offense against the holy name. Of course, this doesn't just mean chanting Hare Krishna, but everything when we speak about Krishna or his pure devotee is also considered the holy name. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur says that it is also an offense to be inattentive while hearing this transcendental subject. Of course, I don't have that much transcendental things to speak about our beloved Srila Sripad Guru Maharaj, but I will try and say some things. Personally, I am never lost for words. When I have to speak, I can speak for hours without any problems. But on occasions like this, I have a mental block, because that mental block comes in one sense due to the sadness of not having the physical presence of Srila Sripad Guru Maharaj. I was very fortunate that since the day I came in contact with him, I had very close association with him. I traveled with him, and sometimes I had good fortune to also share a same room with him. Although it was a little bit embarrassing for me to share the same room as a spiritual master. Generally the spiritual master is supposed to be, treated as good as God. Therefore, it's a very sacred domain of the spiritual master. And somehow Sripad Maharaj was very, very merciful that he allowed me little space, and he shared his room with me. So of course, all I can say is Srila Sripad Maharaj was an embodiment of a perfect Vaishnava. We sometimes read many times in the scriptures, in descriptions of great Vaishnavas. But these Vaishnavas, we do not have personal contact with them. We only read about them, or maybe hear about them being spoken about by some devotees who have read the wonderful qualities of these great Vaishnavas. But my good fortune was that I had personal association of this great soul, great personality, a perfect embodiment of a Vaishnava. A Vaishnava is always concerned for the well-being of others. Many times, Sripad Maharaj would call me. Generally, a disciple calls the spiritual master. But in this case, the spiritual master is calling a disciple. And whenever he calls me, he asks me, "So how is your health?" Now I was thinking, I should be concerned about the well-being of my Guru and his good health, because his good health will help me prolong my association with him, and also I will be able to serve him. But he is always concerned for others' well-being. And then whenever I am with him, especially we come to Mayapur for the GBC meetings, and after the conclusion of the meetings, he would say, shall we go to Manipur? And of course I can never say no. So many times I visited Manipur with Srila Sripad, and when I go to Manipur, we have a very nice Sankirtan festival. There's a tradition there. They do the holy Sankirtan. All the different Sankirtan parties, they go from house to house, places to places, business to business, performing Harinam. So of course we from our ISKCON center also led the Harinam parties, led by Srila Sripad Maharaj with his transcendental heavenly voice, enticing everyone's minds and hearts by his beautiful voice and singing. And then after that, when we come back to the temple, everybody is hungry. They're all sitting in line for prasadam. And of course, at the head of the line, they make a special seat for Srila Sripad Maharaj. But he would never sit. He would pace up and down and make sure everybody is sitting down comfortably. Everybody has prasadam. And after everybody is satisfied and comfortable, then at last he would sit. This is the great magnanimity of a great person. Generally, a great person in the material sense would think, I am a great person, therefore I should be served first. Even these diseases now sometimes spreading within our ISKCON movement also. Sometimes we think, I am a senior devotee, therefore I deserve. Actually, we don't deserve anything. If we deserve anything, we deserve to be humble. We don't deserve to be treated like God or special person. But if some devotees out of etiquette offers you a seat, offers you prasadam, then you will graciously accept that, but not demand. So Srila Sripad Maharaj was such one great Vaishnava that he actually showed by his own personal example how to be a perfect devotee. We are always wondering how to become perfect devotee. Many times when we are giving class, Srimad Bhagavatam class, after the conclusion of the class, we ask any comments, any questions, and there are some hands sometimes raised up, say, how can I improve to be a good devotee? It's very simple. There is no nuclear science here. Simply follow the footsteps of great devotees. Just learn from them. Just associate with them. And actually, when you start associating with great devotees, then you yourself become great, because the greatness of that person rubs onto you. In physics, we used to do this experiment that there is a very powerful magnet, and along with the magnet we put a small piece of iron, and eventually the iron is attracted to the magnet and is stuck to the magnet. And after an hour or so of the iron being stuck to the magnet, you take the iron away from the magnet, and what does the iron have? It also has developed the qualities of a magnet. So similarly, the pure devotees are a magnet of great qualities. And if we have our good fortune to associate with one such person, then we should consider ourselves very blessed. And because of that association, some of the good qualities rubs onto us, and we also get opportunity to become great. And great means not that we become arrogant, that now I am a great person, by the association of a great person I have now become a very powerful person. No. Great means that we develop sincere understanding of our true position. Our true position is one of insignificance. So unless until we understand that we are insignificant, we will never progress in spiritual life. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in his Transcendental Siksastikam prayers, has very clearly given us instructions, the transcendental instructions in the Siksastikam. And one of the prayers we sing regularly, in fact most temples have this practice during Tulsi Puja. After that we recite some Siksastikam prayers, all of it, or at least this one particular sloka, Trinarapi Shunichana, Tarorashuna, Amanina Amanidena Kirtana Sada. Now, in order to actually practice this, it's not easy. Amanina Manidena. One should not expect any respect, but one should be ready to give respect unto others. So when we develop that quality to see everyone else as greater than us, then we'll be able to give them respect and honor. Otherwise we'll think, well, I am a great person, they should be giving me this respect. They should not expect any respect, but they should be giving me respect. Amanina mani dena. It doesn't work like that. It means for us, amanina mani dena. I must not expect respect, but I must give. But I should not think that all of you must not expect respect, but you should give. I am a deserving cause. Give it to me. All the respect and honor. Then what happens? We are on a slippery slope down to hellish regions. So Vaishnavas like Srila Sripad Maharaj are rare in this world. They come to give their association, and while they are physically present, we sometimes take it for granted that he's here every day. Especially for me, in all those years I was with him, I was thinking, he's going to be with me all my life. But of course, at some time, at some stage, the spiritual master decides that he has to leave and go on to serve his spiritual master in another mission somewhere else. So then he leaves his disciples. Now, the disciples, if they were sincerely following the spiritual master and his instructions, then they should be mature enough to continue their spiritual life without the physical presence of the spiritual master, but we have the transcendental instructions which are eternally with us, embedded in our heart, in our minds. And if you take this spirit, then you will never feel the absence of the spiritual master. Although sometimes I am not in the same category that I have embedded all the instructions in my heart. So I feel sad sometimes and saddened that I don't have his physical presence, And whenever I was with him, I was always happy. So I suppose this is the same thing as Queen Kunti prays to Krishna, that let misery come upon us. And when misery comes, Krishna is present. And therefore, Queen Kunti and the Pandavas feel relieved because Krishna is present there. So similarly, I feel that when Sripad is with me and I'm in his presence, I'm free from all anxieties. I have nothing to worry because he is always concerned for well-being. As we heard from the lecture in Pandharpur also, he is always organizing for the well-being of all devotees, not just his disciples, but everyone. And when I was traveling with him, instead of me taking care of him, he was taking care of me. Now I feel that he was teaching me how to become a perfect person. So, on days like this, Tirobhav especially, when we feel separation from the spiritual master, we reflect back and say, can I become like him? Of course, we cannot imitate him, but can I embed the qualities and values he had in myself? And if I do that, and if someone sees me, then they say, oh, he's a disciple of Bhakti Swarupa Damodar Maharaj. Simply by my activities, not knowing that I'm his disciple, but simply by the qualities I have developed from him, that would be credit to the spiritual master. And that would be credit to me that I am doing justice to being his disciple. Otherwise, just being a disciple in name is meaningless. Because on the day when you receive your initiation, and when he looks into your eyes, and he asks you to follow the four regular principles of Krishna consciousness, promise to chant 16 rounds of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, then with great pleasure, he hands you your japa mala and gives you a transcendental name. At that point, when you receive the name, means you are now fully acknowledging that now I have received this name from the spiritual master, therefore now I have no independence. I am fully committed to the order of the spiritual master. And a disciple can only become successful in his spiritual endeavors if he fulfills the order of the spiritual master. This we see in example of our own great Acharya, His Divine Grace A.C. Bhakti Swami Prabhupada. Prabhupada was meditating every day in Radha Damodar temple. How can I fulfill the order of my Guru? And he's praying and he's crying to Rupa Goswami, show me the way, guide me. And then finally one day Rupa Goswami maybe inspired Prabhupada and says, get up, go across the ocean and start preaching the message. And of course Prabhupada took courage at the grand old age of almost touching 70. He went across into the other country, across the Atlantic, into an unknown. But because he had full commitment and faith to the order of his Guru, he was blessed with success. Similarly, Sripad Maharaj was also given many instructions. One of them was to establish the preaching of science and spirituality under the form of Bhaktivedanta Institute. Others, he said, you take cultural programs around the world and teach people through culture. Of course, he did that also with his Ranganiketan group, taking around all this beautiful Manipuri Rasa dance culture to show people how beautiful these pastimes of Krishna are. Then, of course, Prabhupada told him, you build a temple in Manipur. Now, those who have been to Manipur, it's not easy to build a temple in Manipur. There are a lot of obstacles. And, of course, one of the most important ingredients required to build a temple is money, to buy the ingredients, the materials for building temple. But somehow he did it, and he went everywhere and he collected little pennies here and little pennies there. And one time he showed us personally that we went to the marketplace and he put out his Uttaraya and he went to all the shopkeepers and said, please give something for the temple. Even if we give 1 rupee, that is okay. He is collecting to build the temple for Radha Krishna Chandra. Of course, those who have seen the photographs or actually had the opportunity to go to Manipur, then you will see the beautiful temple of Radha Krishna Chandra. And those who haven't been, I would say, it is very easy now. Though in the past you need to get some permission and so many rules, regulations were there. But now you just take a flight across from Calcutta into Imphal, and there you are, just down the road, beautiful temple of Shri Radha Krishna Chandra. And you will not be disappointed when you go there. You will see this wonderful, magnificent temple. So on that note, I invite all of you, please go to Manipur, take darshan of Shri Radha Krishna Chandra, take his blessings, and your lives will become fully fulfilled by the blessing of Shri Radha Krishna Chandra. Because Prabhupada said that this temple of Radha Krishna Chandra will be the embodiment of Krishna consciousness, and it will convert the whole state of Manipur into the revival of Krishna consciousness, which was previously there, but it is kind of slowly dying. But Prabhupada said to Bhakti Swarupa Damodar Maharaj, Sripad, that you do this, very soon you will find the whole state of Manipur becoming first class, dedicated Vaishnavas, worshipping Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu and chanting the holy name. So on that note, I will thank you all very much for this time to speak. Hare Krishna. Jai Sri Sripad Guru Maharaj ki jai. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Gaur Bhakta Vrind ki jai. Jai Go Premanande.
Kyantimirandhasya Gyananjana Shlakaya Chakshuranmalitang Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namah Vishnupadaya Krishna Vashtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti-Vedanta Swaminiti Namane Vanchakalpatarubhascha Kripasindhubhya Evacha Putitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. So we gathered together on a very auspicious day, a little bittersweet auspicious day, because appearance and disappearance of Vaishnava is always auspicious. But of course we lament their physical absence when we're celebrating their disappearance. So Srila Bhakti Sarv Damodar Maharaj, he was very, very dear to Srila Prabhupada. Towards the end, Srila Prabhupada, as far as I understood, he spent so much time with him, emphasizing his preaching program so much. He said, if you can use it, I'll give you the whole Mumbai temple. Colossal, huge. Maybe the first time I met Srila Maharaj, he came from, I'd already joined the institute. This is in 77. Srila Prabhupada was at Bhaktivedanta Mana. He was there for a long time. He'd left India, he wanted to go to America to establish Varnashram Dharma. But his health became so critical that at the Mana he stayed there, he had an operation, and he stayed there for a long time. So many devotees came from all over Europe. So Srila Bhakti Sarv Damodar Maharaj, that time Bhakti Sarv Damodar Prabhu, Brahmachari, he came from America, and he stopped off in England. He was on his way to organize the first conference, Life Comes from Life conference. So I went to the airport and I met him, and we came back together. And then when we got to the Mana, immediately he arrived, there was a message that Prabhupada wants to speak to him immediately. That time Prabhupada's health was so poor, he could hardly see, very thin, very weak, he wasn't standing up. So Srila Maharaj went in and he offered obeisances, and just like when Srila Prabhupada first met Srila Saraswati Prabhupada, so he offered obeisances. Before he stood up, Saraswati Prabhupada was saying, so I think you should preach in the West in English, you're very educated. So before Swarupa Damodar Prabhu, he was then, before he stood up, Prabhupada was already instructing him about the importance of this scientific preaching. And he spoke to Swarupa Damodar Prabhu, he said, at one point he said, we are not animals that we condemn education. But if you use your education to prove that God does not exist. This is a waste of time. He said, people are suffering so much for this. And he started crying and crying. And then, after he'd kind of calmed down, so he said, so who is this? And Swarupa Damodar Prabhu, he said, oh, this is Jnanadas Srila Prabhupada. He's an Oxford scientist, one of our scientists. So Srila Prabhupada looked at me, he said, so, do you agree? So I said, I agree, Srila Prabhupada. I think it was a very critical moment. And then we came to Vrindavan for the conference. Sadhaputta was here, Brahmatirtha was here. I traveled around with Sadhaputta Prabhu, inviting scientists, and we held the conference. Srila Prabhupada was very anxious for the scientists. Like it's said that the father always thinks that the children are incompetent. So Prabhupada was very anxious. He sent, this big bust in his room. He sent it to the auditorium where the conference was going on. He said, so you'll know I'm with you all the time. And then there was a big thing about dress, because all the devotees, generally they're dressed like you all are. Dhotis, saris, like that. But we were dressed in suits. So the devotees thought this is really comical. Said we looked like Mormons. And there was a conversation, actually, I only found it in the conversation book afterwards. So they were discussing the scientists, and someone was saying, oh, they got suits and ties, and I think he was going to say they look like Mormons, and Prabhupada said, yes, very elegant. Prabhupada was very happy with that. So all through the conference, Prabhupada was asking, like, what's happening with the scientists? How are they? He was very anxious. And then straightway at the end of the first day, there was a call. We had to go to Srila Prabhupada to see him, so we didn't have time to take shower, change, or anything like that. So he went into the room, and Tamal Krishna Maharaj, he said, Prabhupada, the scientists arrived. They're wearing suits. He's laughing like this. But Prabhupada was very serious. He said, oh, bring them chairs. It's difficult to sit coat and pant. It's difficult to sit on the floor. So because nobody sat on chairs with Srila Prabhupada, and there weren't any chairs. So they were scuttling around trying to find chairs. In the end, they found 2 chairs. And there were 6 or 7 of us. Bhakti Swarupa Damodar Maharaj, Brahmatirtha Prabhu, Sadhaputta Prabhu, Madhav Prabhu, myself. Like this. So Prabhupada at that time, he was almost blind, physically. He was almost blind. So they put the 2 chairs down, and then we all sat down like this in a row, as if we were all sitting down. But actually there's only 2 chairs and 7 people. So he said, so they're sitting comfortably. Yes, Srila Prabhupada. And then he started inquiring, like, how was the conference going? So that was a 3-day conference. And Srila Prabhupada was very, 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 very pleased that Bhakti Swarupa Damodar Maharaj, he organized that conference. He had said, you do something before I leave. So after this, Bhakti Swarupa Damodar Maharaj, we know he arranged scientific conferences. He met with many very eminent scientists. And some people thought he was like talking with them very mildly, just friendly. But his disciple, Dina Anukampa Prabhu, after Srila Maharaj had left, he explained to me that Srila Bhakti Swarupa Damodar Maharaj, he said, actually the scientists are not so important, but I go and speak nicely with them, and then they let me speak to the students. It's very amazingly, very intelligent strategy. And we know, so his preaching, like this, it's said that you may see how high a mountain is, but do you know how deep the mountain is? So Srila Bhakti Swarupa Damodar Maharaj, he was a very deep devotee, a very realized Vaishnava. And we know towards the end, he was deeply absorbed in Radha Krishna Leela. And this is like his true Vaishnavism. So he was a great He was a great servant of his Guru Maharaj. He really put everything out to serve Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada once, he wrote to him, he said, you prove Achintya Shakti, inconceivable potency, and you show that the Absolute is a person. Then our movement is a great success. Prabhupada so much emphasized, because he knew that Western, Srila Saraswati Prabhupada, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he said Western civilization must be crushed. So actually it depends on material science. And material science, the whole belief that material science is a complete picture of reality is totally untrue. Because it's objective knowledge, and it doesn't give knowledge of the subject who's doing science. And because it's objective knowledge, it's looking out, just like this devotee is filming with a video camera. But on the film, you won't see the camera. You'll only see what he's pointing the camera at. So science also, it's investigating material objects, but it doesn't explain what material science is or how it works. So all the subject, the conscious subject, the I, all the conscious processes, they're outside the range of physical science. They're not the sort of things that physical science looks at. Physical science, but what scientists are doing is the same as we're doing. Scientists, they switch on the particle accelerator, and you go home and switch on the electric kettle. It's the same thing. So the conscious processes that they're using are the same as the conscious processes that we use. And it's beyond the range of physical science. So we need a science of consciousness and matter. Science of the knower and the known. And knowing. So this comes from Bhagavad-Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam. So we have to present this science of consciousness and matter. Consciousness is just covered spirit. Present this science of consciousness and matter and try to make a revolution, what's that? A revolution in a misdirected civilization. So Srila Bhakti Sarabha Damodar Maharaj, he made great advances in this area, and the work is going on. So I offer my obeisances at the Lotus feet, and I pray that I'll be able to continue the work that he's done to serve Srila Prabhupada and our acharyas. Hare Krishna. Vancha kalpatra visayikapa sandhavevacha. Patitam paniva vaishyavevo namo namo.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Vancha kalpa tarubhyascha kripa sindhayevacha patit pavan pavnebhyo vaishnavyevo namo namaha. Each and every devotee is amazing. Each and every Vaishnava is a most amazing person, a most amazing character. Each and every Vaishnava is truly worshipable. If a person were to select a street corner in Delhi, in Mumbai, in Kolkata, and stand and wait for a passerby to have the qualities of a Vaishnava, that person may be standing there waiting for a long time. Because devotees are unique. Among the general body of very unique devotees are some devotees who are just amazing. Swarupa Damodar Maharaj, he was an amazing devotee. There are some few devotees, followers of Srila Prabhupada, who have come from a very wealthy background. If they would simply do nothing, simply amuse themselves for their whole life, they would live in great comfort because of the wealth of the family that they were born in. That these people come to be the menial servants of Srila Prabhupada to push on the mission of Lord Chaitanya is wonderful. Very special devotees. Similarly, those devotees who had great material education, and had a wonderful position with great opportunity in the material world. Everyone in India, they want to go to America, to work, to make some money. Everybody, everyone you meet, they're planning, how can I go to America? Swarupa Damodar Maharaj, he was in America with great opportunity, making great contacts, yet in 1971, he became the menial servant of Srila Prabhupada. We, living entities, we do not have the capacity, we do not have the device, we do not have the understanding to understand what is in another person's heart, what is their purification, what is their connection with Krishna. Krishna knows this. The living entities don't know this of any other jiva. But we, members of ISKCON, we can judge, we can observe a person's advancement by how much he is pleasing to Srila Prabhupada. As Nimi Maharaj said, Srila Prabhupada, he was sick, he was dying. He was in London. He came to India and he died a few months. He knew he was dying. But as soon as Bhakti Swarupa Damodar, that's Brahmachari at the time, as soon as he came, Srila Prabhupada immediately wanted to see him. At different times in history, in the history of Vaishnavism, there have been different obstacles to people at large taking to the philosophy, taking to the practices of Krishna consciousness. The difficulty in the present age is atheism and impersonalism. This was the great challenge that Srila Prabhupada had preaching in the Western countries. And he was most pleased when his educated disciples, particularly people with PhDs, that they formed an institution, science institution, and they were preaching against the understanding that the scientists were giving to the people in general, that life is just chemicals bumping together, that consciousness comes from matter, that there is no spirit and there is no life after death. So this is, many people in the Western world, they think like this, and this is the basis of the education system in the Western world. Like Maharaj was saying, if you just use education to militate against the spirit, then it's a complete waste of time being educated. And education should be for understanding the Supreme Absolute Truth and our relationship with the Supreme Absolute Truth. So Srila Prabhupada was absolutely delighted by the efforts, by the character, by the surrender, by the vision of Sripad Maharaj. This occasion here is in his memory. Some of you here are the disciples, the followers of Sripad Maharaj. Others, like myself, we are his admirers. We hold him in great awe, great veneration. And all of us, from the program today, we may have the impetus, we may have the inspiration to read his books, to listen to his tapes, to understand his character, to understand his motivation, understand the sources of his inspiration, that we too, today and all days forth, become better Vaishnavas, apply ourselves more seriously to the path of Krishna consciousness because of the inspiration and the example of Swarupa Damodar Sripad Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। गुरुवे गौरचन्द्राय राधिकाय तदालये कृष्णाय कृष्णभक्ताय तद्भक्ताय नमो नमः। पंचकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामीति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि श्री गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। जोर से बोलिए हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। इजवाली ने श्रीपाद सर्व दामोदर महाराज की, श्रीपाद दामोदर महाराज तिरुभाव तिथि महामहोत्सव की जय। So today is very special day. Here gathering everyone to celebrate Bhakti Swarupa Damodar Maharaj Tirubhav Tithi Mahotsav and Sri Dham Vrindavan is called almost Vijayadashami today. Navaratri is going on, a very special program everywhere, Ram Navami, celebration, Ram Leela, everything. So this is special day and Maharaj went from this planet back to home, back to Godhead. So already the Maharaj says he's not ordinary, Maharaj is not ordinary persons. He is very dear to Srila Prabhupada. Just like when I was also Bombay, that time Maharaj was Bhakti Vedanta Institute. He had the office. He stayed there for some time for spreading the scientific philosophy for everywhere. And so Maharaj has a very good quality. He is very humble because he is very merciful. Anywhere whoever go, he always say Hare Krishna, like that. He is not so proud for everyone. So he is very very friendly. So that time Maharaj was Bombay, and scientific preaching is so wonderful. Many the scientific books is there, stall. Many his disciples were there and distributing nicely book. They do college program everywhere, and temple also they have bookstall and for collection for BI. So very nice. Many his disciple, also my friend over there that time in Bombay. So we are collecting for membership also. They are collecting for the Manipur temple. So like that. So Maharaj is not ordinary person, because I see Maharaj always along the Prabhupada. Even sometime 1975 I was here in Vrindavan. So one time the Maharaj not come for the class, but Maharaj Prabhupada is just watching like this. He say, "Why is our Swarupa Damodar scientist? Why he not come?" So then after Maharaj, then they called, somebody went to get out and called to Maharaj. So Maharaj came. So Prabhupada is so happy. Our scientist came. This there. So Prabhupada is talking almost so many things about him. So like that. So Swarupa Maharaj, he very good quality, very intelligence. He built the Manipur temple also. Prabhupada said that you should make Manipur a Krishna consciousness. So he did that. And so 1-2 times he brought from Manipur all the drama, the party in Bombay. So he makes so many nice drama. So and Maharaj, he decorated us like Manipuri dress, pakadi, everything he call us in the temple, in front of the temple hall. So we enjoy like anything that time. So it's like such a, the sun rise, like this beautiful program was going on. But now I saw in Bombay is not much preaching going on, scientific preaching going on. So Prabhupada, the Maharaj wants to be scientific preaching very highly, and Prabhupada also said that he give to Swarupa Damodar this list, the second floor and Bombay guest house. So they have given Prabhupada orders. So they have given the BI, second floor for scientific preaching purpose only. So, but now it's not book distribution going on, nothing is going on. So I think I request all his disciples, because he has so many disciples, very educated, engineer, doctor. So they should, whatever Samudra Damodar Maharaj wants to do, they should fulfill his desire. And Bombay, because it's very big city, because they very good for scientific preaching, they should go and preach more, because they have so much facility in Bombay. So now it's not much going on. So I'm requesting them to please fulfill your spiritual master desire, Swarupa Damodar Maharaj desire to preach for scientific people. So like this. So this much I say to everyone. To Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. His Holiness Swarupa Damodar Maharaj ki jai, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
So it's very, very, very essential. So Srila Swarupa Damodar Maharaj, and of course, as we have been hearing, he was undoubtedly not, he was a great Vaishnava, not a simple person. He was actually a great personality. He was a great Vaishnava. And normally the Vaishnavas, they are known by their qualities, not just by their appearance, by their qualities, as they are known. You know, he had such an illustrious background. I was fortunate to be in Manipur some few years ago. I could see the kind of Vaishnava culture that is there. The whole state of Manipur is actually the Vaishnava, the Gaudiya Vaishnavas. So it's such a great heritage. So Maharaj came from there, and of course, we know that the moment he joined Srila Prabhupada's society, the ISKCON society, he immediately was playing such a prominent role. I think I came to know him, around maybe 78 or 79, when this book came out, the Life Comes from Life, and then the scientific basis of Krishna consciousness. Those two books, they could that time on Sankirtan, especially if you want to preach to the colleges, to the science students. So those two books, they were very, 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 very enlightening, which, the scientific basis of Krishna consciousness. I've not seen, I don't know if the book is still there, I've not seen it. Are they still distributed? Yes. Very, very nice book, And also the Life Comes from Life. The very popular, the conversation that Maharaj actually Srila Prabhupada in Bombay. Very nice, beautiful book. So actually, those two books were actually very, very helpful that time when we were preaching especially when we were doing a college preaching. So those two books were very, 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 very preaching, very, very helpful. So Maharaj not only was he a great scholar, great scientist, but also a great Vaishnava. Actually, Maharaj his Vaishnava Bhav was much, much deeper than even just being a scientist. I remember when I used to live in San Francisco in USA. So that time when Maharaj would come to the Rath Yatras, and he would bring the Ranganiketan, the Manipuri dancers there. And that time, Maharaj himself with this big turban, he'd be on the stage, introducing the Ranganiketan, singing the Bhagavad-Gita prayers. He himself will actually be dancing on the stage. Even though such a big scholar, big scientist, but he will become down to earth, singing and dancing on the stage, introducing this Manipuri, Kirtaniyas. So, and the Vaishnavism, which he was actually propagating, so it gets a very, very deep impression, on the people. And of course, that great personalities, they come and also they go. So it was. I remember I was in Calcutta in 2006. I just arrived in Calcutta, and the temple president called me that Srila Swarupa Maharaj just passed away. So it was a big surprise that what, it just passed away. Because I was fortunate to be there in the room where his body was lying, and even though his body was fresh, it wasn't same as the person that you know before. There wasn't any noticeable change in his body at all. So that just shows that he was not an ordinary person. He was a great personality. So those who have come in contact with him and those who are actually serving him, they're actually very, very fortunate. And it will be a great privilege, of course, to have the association of all the nice devotees who have been serving Maharaj. So thank you very much. You have much to say. Hare Krishna. Srila Swarupa Maharaj ki. Srila Prabhupada ki. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Thank you.
Om Jnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam. Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Utapadakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavangsha Sri Rupam Shagrajatam Sagana Raghunatha Nitantam Sajivam Sadvaitam Sabadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Sri Visakhanitamscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishavanasate Devi Pranamami Hari Priya Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhevacha Patitanang Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So today we are observing the disappearance day of His Holiness Bhakti Swarupa Damodar Swami Maharaj, who was a great devotee and very dear to Srila Prabhupada. As we all know, that Maharaj was very humble, and almost everyone who has come in contact with him knew this thing, that how Maharaj was very humble and was always in very jolly mood. Because when someone will see such a great personality with such humility and in jolly mood, naturally one will be influenced by that jolliness or pleasure which the great devotee feels all the time by seeing other Vaishnavas and other people. So from that we can understand that Maharaj, he was very compassionate, Dayalu. He was very compassionate towards other living entities and specifically to the devotees. And his humility, that is the basic qualification of a Vaishnava. And that makes actually a Vaishnava a great person. And it has been stated that the humility actually is the greatest ornament of a Vaishnava. When a Vaishnava is humble and very compassionate towards other living entities, then naturally he will attract people towards him. So though Maharaj was from a very humble background and he was a great scholar and great scientist, so when he was studying in America, he was doing his PhD. That was the time when Maharaj for the first time met Srila Prabhupada. Though his friend Dr. Rao, who became later on Ramananda Rai, he actually invited Maharaj many times to go to Srila Prabhupada, but Maharaj was refusing to go, like Prabhupada was refusing to his friend to go to see Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur initially in Calcutta. Because Maharaj had seen in America that many sadhus from India, they had gone to America and they were doing business, one type of business by opening yoga centers and doing some kind of teaching and taking money from people. So Maharaj was not very much attracted to the so-called sadhus. So when Dr. Rao invited Maharaj to go to Los Angeles to see Srila Prabhupada, initially Maharaj thought maybe he may be another sadhu like that. So he was not very much interested. And Dr. Rao was almost going every day to Los Angeles to see Srila Prabhupada. And one day, he asked Maharaj that, okay, tomorrow I am going to meet Srila Prabhupada, and this time I am giving you the last ultimatum. If this time you will not come with me, then my relationship with you will end for our life. I will not keep any relationship with you. So then Maharaj somehow he agreed to go with Dr. Rao. And actually that was the day when Dr. Rao got initiated by Srila Prabhupada. His name became Ramananda Rai. And he took Maharaj with him and introduced to Srila Prabhupada. So when Prabhupada saw him, actually that day Prabhupada had eye contact with Maharaj. Then another day, Ramananda Rai, he introduced Maharaj to Srila Prabhupada, and he told him that he was doing PhD. So Prabhupada told Maharaj that you people, he was almost chastising. He was in a chastising mood like Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur did to Srila Prabhupada. So he was telling, you people, you have come to America to beg something, beg technology from them. But I have come here to give them India's greatest treasure, the spirituality of India. So why you not taking this spirituality and preach to the scientists. So that was the first instruction Srila Prabhupada gave to Maharaj even before he was initiated. And actually Maharaj was a Vaishnava from his very childhood, and Prabhupada actually glorified Manipur that time. Prabhupada said Manipur is a Vaishnava state. The people in Manipur, they are naturally Vaishnavas. So you should also preach this Vaishnava culture all over the world. And specifically to the educated people, intelligent people, and the scientists, those who are motivating the whole world in their way of atheistic philosophy. So Maharaj was very much convinced by Srila Prabhupada's approach, and then from that day on Maharaj went almost every day to see Srila Prabhupada, and later on he was initiated by Srila Prabhupada as Swarupa Damodar Das, and when he took sannyas, then bhakti was added in his name. And Srila Prabhupada was actually very proud of him. And we have seen that whenever Prabhupada tells about him, he says, our Swarupa Damodar. That shows that how Prabhupada was thinking him as his own. So when someone will think someone as his own, then he can say, oh, our or mine. So Prabhupada was always telling him, because Maharaj was a great Vaishnava and also very learned and a scientist. So Srila Prabhupada was thinking him to use, to convince the scientists and show their faults and bring them to Krishna consciousness. And Prabhupada personally trained Maharaj. And we have seen a picture where Prabhupada used to go in the morning walk and Maharaj would be holding a tape recorder, recording. He would be questioning and Prabhupada would be answering. So in this way, Prabhupada personally trained him up how to preach to the scientists. And here in Vrindavan, Prabhupada actually encouraged Maharaj to hold the first conference with the scientists. And Prabhupada was, though Prabhupada could not attend at that time, though he was here, he was sick, but still he was getting all information what was happening. And that was a very successful program in Vrindavan. And Prabhupada actually gave that charge to Maharaj through BI to preach to the scientists and make many conferences to convince the scientists that Krishna consciousness is the only solution for the problems of this material world. And one time, Prabhupada also wrote a letter to one professor where he was speaking about Bhakti Swarupa Damodar Maharaj. So he was writing in that letter that Bhakti Swarupa Damodar, he is very friendly to everyone. He can very easily make friends and he is not inimical to anyone. So that shows that the Guru is actually praising the disciple about his good qualities. This is very rare where the spiritual master praises the disciple, like we see Narad Muni, he was praising Prahlad Maharaj, his good qualities. So Maharaj was such a great personality that he was even praised by his own spiritual master. And in this way we can see that also in Maharaj's dealings with everyone, he was so affectionate towards everyone. And he would, as soon as he would see someone, he would smile. So that gives the impression that how Maharaj was affectionate towards everyone and how he was pure in his heart. A person pure in heart can also deal with others in the same way, in a purest way. So Maharaj's qualities are unlimited qualities, and we are actually unable to understand or even glorify all the qualities of a Vaishnava, because as Krishna's qualities are unlimited, so also the qualities of his devotees, they are also unlimited. And we can only get a glimpse of his good qualities and in that way glorify the pure Vaishnavas, and we become purified ourselves by glorifying the Vaishnavas. So it is our great fortune that we got such a nice Vaishnava in our society, whom Srila Prabhupada used to preach to the intelligentsia, and in that way to bring Krishna consciousness to high class people of the society. And Srila Bhakti Swarupa Damodar Swami Maharaj's departure actually was a great loss for ISKCON, for our society, and also a great loss for the devotee world. So on this day, we pray at his lotus feet to give us that blessing by which we can become dedicated to Srila Prabhupada's movement, like he was dedicated fully for Srila Prabhupada's movement, and serve Srila Prabhupada and his mission and make our life successful. Hare Krishna.
Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhu bhyevacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Hare Krishna. So yeah, as we heard the wonderful description of the glories of Shripad Maharaj, Maharaj was an extremely exalted personality, and we are very fortunate that we had some of his association. And actually, as a disciple, we are never really able to repay the debt to the spiritual master, because the spiritual master is giving us Krishna, he is connecting us with Krishna, so we are never able to repay that back. And as we also heard beautifully described by Maharaj, Shripad Maharaj was not only a great scientist, but he was also an extremely pure Vaishnava. And I remember it was in Mayapur Dham where I became more kind of convinced or realized that actually he's my Guru Maharaj. It was during a festival when Maharaj was giving this ISKCON Excellent Awards. And actually Srila Prabhupada himself gave that instruction to Srila Shripad Maharaj that he should conduct this ceremony, that he should start this to glorify Vaishnavas, to appreciate Vaishnavas. Those devotees who have done some very special service, they should be honored. And why did Srila Prabhupada choose Sripad Maharaj to do this service because Srila Prabhupada understood that Sripad Maharaj is extremely pure by himself, and he will be able to actually properly appreciate other Vaishnavas. And I remember when I saw Maharaj on the stage, how he went to the devotees and he brought this certificate and some gifts, and the way how Guru Maharaj, how he gave the gifts, he was so blissful. And it was, I mean, it's difficult to explain in words, but just to see him like this childlike, simple-hearted, pure-hearted Vaishnava who has such a pleasure to glorify other devotees. So you could understand, this personality is so pure, completely free from envy, there is no false ego, just completely in bliss to glorify other Vaishnavas. So I was very much attracted by this amazing quality. And because when I was looking for a spiritual master, I understood that the spiritual master should be a transparent media. He should be a pure devotee, someone who represents the Supreme Lord, so that, because we have to surrender to the lotus feet of the spiritual master, and whatever the spiritual master will tell us, we have to follow as disciple. So how can I accept the shelter of someone if I'm not completely convinced that this person actually is pure? So when I met His Holiness Bhakti Swarupa Damodar Maharaj, I realized this is such an amazing personality. Here I can fully, with conviction, I can take shelter. And I was requested to say something about Maharaj's visit in Switzerland, because I'm from Switzerland. And Maharaj, I think, came the first time in the 90s with his Rangini Ketana team to Switzerland, but then later from 2000 to 2005, about 5 times, Maharaj visited Switzerland, and he met with different scientists, and of course spent time at the temple. And several times I got a chance to cook for Maharaj, because I was a chef before, and then when I joined the movement, of course, my first service was in the kitchen, and then I was allowed to cook for Maharaj. And Maharaj liked especially one dish, one item which is called rösti. Rösti is a Swiss specialty. Basically, it's just potatoes, baked in a pan. So I prepared that item for Guru Maharaj, and while I was preparing the potatoes, something within my heart told me, you should put a little, fresh coriander inside. And I thought, why? Why fresh coriander? This is not part of the recipe, because coriander is not a Swiss herb, and so I kind of neglected that thought. As it is, often actually Paramatma within our heart wants to tell us something, but we are not able to really understand or hear. And that's why also Paramatma in the form of Guru appears in front of us, so that we may hear from him directly. So I didn't give it much attention to it. It came again, 2 or 3 times. You should put some coriander. I said, no, I'm a chef, I know what I'm doing. There is no coriander into a rösti. So I just prepared the item, and then it was offered, and we brought it to Guru Maharaj. And after Guru Maharaj was finished with the prasadam, I went up to the room, picked up the plate, and Maharaj smiled. Yes, it was very nice, very wonderful prasadam. Rösti was very good, but just next time, if you prepare this rösti, maybe you just add a little bit fresh coriander. Then it would be perfect. And I said, oh wow. At that point I could realize, this is Sri Guru. Sri Guru is truly, within our heart, he's truly a representative of the super soul. And that's really the shelter, the place where we should take shelter. Because whatever Guru tells us, this is directly coming from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And such a Guru we should worship, such a Guru we should take shelter of. And so we are very grateful, and it's very auspicious for us that we got the chance to associate with Maharaj. And I'm grateful to be in the association with such wonderful devotees. Please excuse me to speak before senior devotees. We're looking forward to hear from you. Hare Krishna. Srila Sripad Maharaj ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Om Ajnanatimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Taksurun Militam Jena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namah Sri Chaitanya Manovistam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Sayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Svapadandigam Adadanastranandan Tairidam Yache Puna Puna Srimad Rupa Padambujo Dulisyam Janmajanmani Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasati Gaur Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Panchakalpadrubhishcha kripa sindhu vaivata patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. So Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur has written a very beautiful song in English. We all know the beautiful Bengali songs of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, but he wrote one in English. Now sometimes in school we have to write some poetry, and writing in our own language is always a big headache. We remember in our school days. But Bhaktivinoda wrote this poem not in his Bengali mother tongue, but in English, with perfect rhyme and meter. And one line there describes the preaching work of Srila Bhakti Swarup Damodar Maharaj. Tell me not in reasoning cold that man was made alone by earth's mechanic lifeless rules and to destruction prone. Tell me not in reasoning cold that life was made alone by earth's mechanic lifeless rules and to destruction prone. This is the whole essence of the preaching of Srila Bhakti Swarup Damodar Swami Maharaj. And that was the instruction of Srila Prabhupada. And Maharaj, he dedicated, I never saw anybody so dedicated to his service. Every atom of his body was dedicated to serving that mission of preaching to the scientists. And now we see the fruit of that. People are more and more doubting the scientists. People are doubting whether we went to the moon or not. People are doubting whether the scientists can solve the problems. People are criticizing Darwin now. Before, if you criticize Darwin, you'd be kicked out of the scientific community, but now scientists themselves are criticizing Darwin. So, the fruit of his great endeavor to preach to these scientists is now coming to fruition. And that was the perfection of his life, because we know from Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, Yasya Prasada Bhagavad Prasadu, Yasya Prasada Nagati Ketopi. That Yasya Prasad, by the mercy, if we please the spiritual master, then the doors to liberation are open for us. So he spent his whole life dedicated to this. This was one of Prabhupada's very, very dear themes, because the scientists have the reason we're facing so much trouble in the world right now is due to this atheistic idea that we're just, this one life is it, you get as much as you can and then it's all finished. So everybody is just fighting one another to get more and more, exploit the resources of material nature to the fullest extent, and now we're killing ourselves. The whole planet is in trouble. The air is polluted, the water is polluted, the food is polluted, the mind is polluted, the heart is polluted, everything is polluted, and the whole universe is the poles are melting. Very soon many of the great cities of the world will be underwater. We're facing all of these problems just due to this atheistic idea that you enjoy as much as you can, and when it's over, it's over. This idea has been completely brainwashed in the entire population of the world, and we're madly trying to exploit the resources of material nature and ending our own existence. So this was Prabhupada could see this coming, and he wanted that we preach to these scientists and challenge their atheistic philosophy and prove scientifically that God is there. And Maharaj dedicated his whole life to this one service. Therefore, he has pleased Srila Prabhupada perfectly. Sometimes people ask why he left so early, he didn't finish his work. But we don't measure by the end result. I don't want to say that, but what do I want to say? The point was that he dedicated his whole life to serving the mission of Srila Prabhupada. That was the perfection of his life. Not conquering the scientists, but dedicating his life to that. That was the perfection. And sometimes people ask why he left so soon, and so many people have left so Gaur Govind left, Tamal Krishna left. My take on it is that the rest of us who are still here, we're so fallen that Prabhupada is calling all his great generals back to him to help pull us out of this material existence. That's why they left very early. We're very happy to be here for this nice program, glorifying this wonderful Vaishnav. Actually, my temple, when I was temple president in Portland, Oregon, Prabhupada named it New Manipur. Even because it was New Manipur, I learned some Manipuri. Karam Tubiri, Nugnai. So I always used to greet Maharaj in his own language. He was always very happy. He always loved me so much. We're very sad that he left so early, but still he pleased Prabhupada by his 100% dedication to carrying out the order of the spiritual master. And that is our inspiration, that we also dedicate ourselves, use these days to rededicate ourselves, that somehow or other we have to satisfy the spiritual master, then our life will be perfect. Hare Krishna. Srila Bhakti Swarupa Damodar Maharaj ki.
Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshurunmilitam Jaina Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Didati Swapadantikam. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimate Giriraj Swami Tinam. So I remember the day when we got the news in America. I was with my Guru Maharaj in Santa Barbara, and it was so shocking, like everybody said, that Maharaj had left, and I had so much of Maharaj's association in Bombay, and I used to look forward to his Mangala Arati Kirtans in Bombay, his classes. Although I must admit that when I first heard his first class, I didn't quite understand what Maharaj was saying. But to make it short, I understood afterwards that he was speaking in scientific terms. I don't know if, I guess he knew why he was doing that, although it was a Srimad Bhagavatam class. But I still appreciated the class and later understood that he was following what Prabhupada said, and he knew that maybe there was a scientist in the assembly who had to be convinced. And the other thing I wanted to say is, like everybody was saying, that Maharaj was such a loving person that the greatest gift that Srila Prabhupada gave us to posterity is his love, that he loved everybody. When someone said that Srila Prabhupada, everybody loves you, then Srila Prabhupada said, that's because I love everybody. And I feel Srila Prabhupada, Maharaj was like that. He loved everybody. He was so friendly. And I'll just say one personal story, because we know the glories of Maharaj's preaching, his dedication, his deep commitment to following Srila Prabhupada's instructions. But I experienced that in Bombay they had a system that there was one devotee, Raghunath Das, and he was in charge of taking sick devotees to the hospital. And Maharaj had to have a hernia operation, so Maharaj had to go to the hospital. And I also had to go to the hospital for some reason. So Raghunath Prabhu told me later on that he asked Maharaj that, Maharaj, can I also bring another Mataji who is ill, so I don't have to go twice and we save the transport costs, etc. And Maharaj said, of course. So I rode in the car with Maharaj, and of course he was, like everybody said, and Srila Prabhupada said, a devotee is a gentleman, and he was such a perfect gentleman. I was like just so happy to be in his association, and I didn't feel like I was a woman and what would he think, but he made me feel so comfortable. And when I had worked it in my mind that when we reached the doctor, I would tell Raghunath Prabhu that please let Maharaj go first, because Maharaj is so advanced and I can wait, I don't mind, but Maharaj has so many important things. So Raghunath told Maharaj, and Maharaj said, no, she should go first. He said, she should go first. And I was saying, no, tell him that he should go first. And then I realized I'm wasting time. So I saw the doctor, and the amazing thing was the doctor's room was so small that, and there was a little curtain, and there was really no place. And Maharaj was just like sitting, I can't even explain to you how he was sitting and where he was sitting. It was like a thoroughfare, But he didn't mind the austerity. And I, of course, saw the doctor, and then Maharaj saw the doctor. So I was thinking that he was, of course, he wasn't on the bodily platform because he's such a pure devotee, as Krishna Prem Prabhu said, that he was attracted by his purity, and that we always look for someone who is a perfect via medium, transparent via medium. And somebody also mentioned, and even my god sister Vishakapriya, she said that after Maharaj left, and he left in Calcutta, so to come from Calcutta to Vrindavan, and then from Vrindavan, a few rites were done, and then he was taken to Radhakund. But she says when she took darshan of Maharaj looked so effulgent, and he looked like he was, like the person who spoke before me said, that just like he was sleeping. He was just, so effulgent and so peaceful. And of course there was no rigor mortis also, which also is another indication that he's not under the laws of material nature. He had a perfectly, fully transcendental body, because as Prabhupada mentioned, if we engage in spiritual activities and in service to Krishna, then our body becomes completely spiritual. And that is why we don't sort of burn the body, but we inter the body into a tomb. And because the person is so advanced, then he can actually, if we pray to him at his samadhi, he's there and he can listen to our prayers as we go on appearance and disappearance days to the samadhis of our various acharyas. So on this most auspicious day, I can say a little more. I think I want to say one thing more. That the main thing also that I got, especially from my Guru Maharaj, is through him, the love of Bhakti-Swarupa Damodar Maharaj. And once when I was in Bombay, I was feeling so bad because it was Bhakti-Swarupa Damodar Maharaj's Vyas Puja, and I had to go to Surat to do my service. And I was like crying inside and was praying to Radha Ras Bihari that how come this is happening, that, what's one day's difference, to go to Surat, So then I got a call from my Guru Maharaj, and I told him, and he said, well, you have to find a nice excuse to stay here, I don't want them to think that I'm encouraging my disciples to just leave their service, And to cut the story short, by Bhakti-Swarupa Damodar Maharaj's mercy also, I got to stay and take part in the program, because Bhakti-Swarupa Damodar Maharaj was personally present that time. And so I think all your disciples who are disciples of Maharaj are very, very fortunate. And I pray to Srila Bhakti-Swarupa Damodar Maharaj that I can develop one drop of his wonderful qualities, especially of developing loving relationships with all devotees and actually all living entities. Thank you. Hare Krishna. His Holiness Bhakti-Swarupa Damodar Maharaj ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Samaveta Bhaktivinoda ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanandi, Hari Hari Bol.
Om Ajnanati Mirandhasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namah. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Swarupa Damodar Swami Namini Namasad Bhakta Manaya Manipud Bhavayasha Prabhupada Lashadbani Prasarani Ratayati Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamiti Namini Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Prasarini Nirvishesha Sannavade Pachasta Desha Tarini Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Dvaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna. Obeisances to all the Vaishnavas here. For the last so many years I have come here to join this celebration, and I am so requested because this is the word of Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada wanted to make Manipur the past Vaishnava state. And this work is entrusted to our Maharaj, Mr. Damodar. Somehow in 2006 he has already left. Every time I came and I request our Atmanivedan Maharaj to help, but so far that help has not come. And now we are trying. The situation in Manipur was not as before. It has changed a lot now. Because of the revivalization group, see, in 2006 there was bomb blast in the temple when there was a celebration of the Krishna Janmashtami. That shows the gravity of the people which we are facing in Manipur. It's not so easy now. Although we said that Vaishnava, Manipur is the land of Vaishnava, now this revival group is very, very strong. They are supported by UG groups. And it is also very difficult to just say something also. But somehow, by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, we are just trying to continue this. And this is my request. As Maharaj also, Atmanivana Maharaj also said, please come to Manipur. Now we have a small temple in the birthplace of Sripad Maharaj also. That is coming up little slowly now. So I think with the help of the Vaishnava here, I think if you can just, even if you cannot come personally, if you give your blessing, so that the temple in Manipur and the places in Manipur may come up with some good result, so that we can be a little help in Srila Prabhupada mission. So this is my request, because I don't have to speak much, because already Maharaj's glory is already, it is known throughout the ISKCON world, So we don't have much, but most fortunate is us, because since we are from Manipur, we are the most loser, Sometimes, just like in the Srimad Bhagavatam, Buddha was lamenting when Krishna left. He said that we Jadu people are the most wretched, because Krishna left. It's like the same thing. Actually, sometimes people from other part of the world, they may be feeling the vacant of Maharaj's disappearance. But the most thing is that in our English, for the program, suppose Janmashtami, when Maharaj was there, from anywhere in the world, he will call us. What is the program? But now that has not been heard for the last 7 years. So feeling very much pain. But I think this can be substituted if our Maharajas, good brothers come and just inspire us. If that blessing is there, I think by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada and also by the mercy of Sripad Maharaj, the temples in Manipur and the prison can become up. So please bless so that this mission of Srila Prabhupada in Manipur can be successfully done. Hare Krishna.
So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked to Ramananda Rai, Dukha madhe kono dukha hai gurutar. So Ramananda Rai answered, वैष्णव विच्छेद दुख बिना दुख नहीं यार. This topmost miserable situation that we can face in our life when we separated from a Vaishnava association. But same times we heard from Bhaktivinoda Thakur. He told he reasons who thinks that Vaishnavas die. Thou art is living and still in sound. Vaishnavas die to live and living spread holy names around. So the disappearance day is we are observing this of His Holiness Bhakti Swarupa Damodar Goswami Maharaj. So many Vaishnavas, I heard many glorifications, how he was an exalted Vaishnava. And one can know the glories of a Vaishnava, the way in which he disappeared. Prabhupada used to say in Bengali, bhajan kari, sadhana kari, marte janle hai. How we have did our bhakti in our lifetime, it is tested in time of death or disappearance. So I heard some cassettes how Maharaj in his last days, he was always in like samadhi, he was chanting so many nice songs, he was composing himself and singing, and he was crying. And the songs are very, you will hear the songs very, then you can understand that the songs are just expressing how dear he was to Radharani, and he was just glorifying his own relations and his service mood in those songs. And we could also see how Radha Shyamasundar, Radharani gave him a place in Radha Kund. Just there is no difference between this Vrindavan and the eternal Goloka Vrindavan. So we can see Maharaj was so dear to Radharani, so Radharani gave him a place just in Radha Kund. He is sitting there in Samadhi and meditating on Radha Krishna's pastimes. And no doubt that particular verse in Gaudavastakam, Nikunja Jona Ratikeli Siddhayi Yaya Libhir Juktirapekhyaniya Tatradi Dakhyat Ativallavasya Vande Guru Sri Charanarvindam. And that particular verse is no doubt is applicable to Maharaj. He is a very intimate maidservant of Radharani. He is in Manjari Swarupa, he is helping the gopis in intimate service of Radha and Shyamasundar. So in his lifetime here also, he was helping Srila Prabhupada, and he was so dear to Prabhupada. It was so difficult to please the scientists. Maya Apahruta Jnana Asuri Bhava Asrita. Those peoples, but Prabhupada engaged him in serving those peoples, and he is in BI he was flourishing like anything when Maharaj was here. So we are just chanting that verse every day, Guru Mukha Padma Vakya Chitete Kariya Aikya Arana Kariya Mane Asa. But in life of His Holiness Swarupa Damodar Goswami Maharaj, as Dinavana Prabhu told, every atom of his body was just is for Prabhupada's service. He was day and night meditating, and is practically also demonstrating his service for pleasing his Guru, his divine grace Srila Prabhupada. We must learn this service spirit from Maharaj. So, we are observing this disappearance day, so I am begging his mercy. So a dust or a very of his service motive is, if he will come to us, so our life also becomes successful. His Holiness Swarupa Damodar Goswami Sripad Maharaj ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Maharaj. So we have just received one wonderful guest. His guest Krishna Baldev Prabhu. I will request him to please come forward because he is just living, so that's why I am requesting him to. So next I am requesting his grace Akhiradham Prabhu. Akhiradham. After Krishna brother Prabhu. Yes. Sorry.
Om Ajnana-timirandasya Gyananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Swarupa Damodara Swami Tinamine Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami iti namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashatya Deshatarine. Oh, this was really unexpected. I just walk out and say, and encounter a friend and said, well, they are just inside glorifying Shripad Maharaj. So unfortunately I didn't calculate my time in India this time, so I'm leaving tomorrow morning, so I cannot attend the Tirobhava in Radhakunda. But certainly my heart and my wife's heart, she's a disciple of Shripad Maharaj. Our hearts will be there with the devotees. Yes, Shripad Maharaj, His Holiness Bhakti Swarupa Damodar Shripad Maharaj, he created a big impression in the hearts of all of those who had the opportunity, a chance, or the mercy of having his holy association. Such a wonderful person, really a very wonderful person. I had an opportunity to travel with him in Manipur and visiting his home village, not hometown, home village, really in the countryside, a very remote area of Manipur. And it was amazing. I see how people loved him so much. And everywhere where he went, they received with a very wonderful kirtan. And they told me, this is just a natural thing. Everybody does kirtan here. Whoever comes here, they do kirtan. Kirtan is the life of everybody in Manipur. And it was his life, actually, even though Srila Prabhupada had given that very important service to preach to the scientists. His main passion, his main drive was the chanting in kirtan. And we could see, even in his advanced age, because he was much older than us, he had always such a vigorous spirit to sing and dance in the kirtans. I remember once we brought the first group of Chinese devotees to India, and we came with them to Navadvip to meet Shripad Maharaj there. It was really a very nice arrangement, because we went to the temple, Gopal Deva temple, a small temple, and Shripad Maharaj led a kirtan. And he was so enthusiastic, in his singing and in his dancing, that he completely drove everybody mad in the mood of the kirtan. And then some people were saying, who is this person? They have never seen such a charismatic person like Shripad Maharaj was. So happy, so jolly, so into the kirtan. So he was totally with the holy names, you could see. So this was the main feature, the thing that drove him the most in life was the kirtan of the holy names. And his duty to Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada gave that service, and he took it so much to heart that even against all odds, against all difficulties, he never gave up his duty to Srila Prabhupada to serve him by preaching to the scientists. And even some of his scientist friends considered him a saint amongst the scientists. They could notice, it was not so difficult to notice that he was a very special person. Just by looking at his face, just looking at his eyes, you could see that was something unique in him. And I personally had wonderful opportunities to associate with him in many places in the world. And it was always a very wonderful occasion. He would make you feel so comfortable, so at home, because he was always at home. He was in Vrindavan. He was always carrying Krishna with him. Until the last moment, he was like that, always very jolly, even though underwent so many tribulations, so much suffering, so much trouble. Still, he never gave up his nature, his jolly nature, because he had so much confidence in Krishna, so much confidence in the holy names. So we miss him dearly. It really was a very special personality, very unique, very, very unique. Those of you, and many of you certainly had this personal association amongst our God brothers also. We knew he was not from this world. So we hope that wherever he is there in Goloka Vrindavan, he keeps an eye on us, and when our time comes, we'll say a little word on our behalf to Radha Krishna, so we can also join him there. Srila Shripad Maharaj ki jai. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Guru. Thank you. It has been short and quick. So, please, Akhiladham. So, after Akhiladham Prabhu, I request Mukunda Prabhu, Head Pujari. So, there is a request because we are running out of time now. So, I will request the speaker, please brief your speech.
Omagyanatimarndasya Kyananjana Shilakya Chakshurmitamina Tasmai Shri Gurve Namaha Vanchakalpatubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhi Vacha Patitadam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Of course, we're all here because of Srila Prabhupada. And along with Prabhupada, just like when Krishna comes, he doesn't come alone. He comes with his entourage. And they all have very special roles to play in his pastime. And so along with Prabhupada, there are several individuals who played or are continuing to play major roles in Lord Chaitanya's Leela of transforming material energy into Krishna Lok, into Vaikuntha Lok. And among those individuals, there's very you could say, Nitya Leela qualities of relation with Chaitanya's pastime and Prabhupada, and complementing Prabhupada, and filling it out, the whole Vaishnav culture, which will reveal Vrindavan, Vaikuntha, Vrindavan. And Maharaj is one of those associates. Actually, as I'm speaking, I was just at Radha Damodar sitting with Prabhupada and with Jiva Goswami. And as I think of him, I'm thinking of Jiva Goswami. I'm remembering that kind of quality to get to give Krishna consciousness. Because he's absorbed in Krishna consciousness and the sweetness. He can give it because he has it. And he brings that to whatever class of people he's addressing, like Prabhupada had that, Shakti. And Maharaj also, he was able to connect with anybody. And he was even able to break the scientific barrier, you know, and relate with these personalities on a level where they could embrace him as a friend. He was able to actually that Brahma Bhuta Samasaveshu Bhuteshu, this friend to everyone. He was able to break the scientific Great Wall of China, you know, keeping them cut off from anything spiritual, to break that barrier, to act as an instrument for Mahaprabhu and Prabhupada, which he had already, with the easy journey to other planets, which all Prabhupada had already begun. But he was able to actually, with the crack that Prabhupada made, he was able to make the crack big and get in there with them on the cutting edge. And not just with the scientists, but the interfaith organizations that I forget the name, that he established. And the profound effect that he had to bring people together. And he was able to do that with the scientists and with the people from any background, any religious background. He was able to bring them together, united. If you read any of the books, these small books that they have, the PI, that the devotees are distributing of his books, bringing people together. And that's what ISKCON means. Bringing ourselves together with others as a member of Krishna's family. This is ISKCON, and this is Maharaj, and he's the heart of ISKCON. He's one of those core ISKCON devotees with Prabhupada. Same disciple means same mood. That the disciple has the mood of the spiritual master. And that's his mood, father and son. And they can't be separated. They can never be separated. It's like the finger on the body of the hand, or the whole hand on the wrist. You know, boom. Maharaj is one of those individuals who have that major effect in like this, you could say, Adi Leela of ISKCON in the Kali Yuga, in this 10,000 year period. He's one of those major associates of this chapter, these chapters of Chaitanya Charitamrita that are being written right now. And he's got some major, pastimes in this Chaitanya Charitamrita sections. And his role, just like the associates of Mahaprabhu who came with Mahaprabhu, they each had different roles. The Goswamis, they each had different roles to play, and Maharaj. But he had such an incredible job, which he was able to do so completely transcendental to all the difficulties involved. He was completely transcendental. He was right in the thick of it and able to just dissolve those barriers just by his purity and his intelligence, his transcendental intelligence, to be a transcendental ambassador to Krishna Lok, to the most cut off persons in the universe, these scientists who are so godless. And he was able to break the barriers and find common ground and inspire them to get on board Mahaprabhu's program. There's Penrose, Roger Penrose, or different persons like Nobel Prize winning personalities, you know. So this, and his effect on me. I mean, when my name is Akhiladhara, and it means foundation of all that exists, and I relate to how Prabhupada gave me that name, because if that includes everything and everyone in the universe, and how he's the basis, it's this little jiva, you know, it's no problem for Krishna to take care of me. And Prabhupada gave me that name because I can relate. But how Maharaj related to me directly and personally at a time when I was really, really needing a person in position to take to give me shelter. And he really stood up. He stood right out there. I'm just a little infantry, Sankirtan bag, foot soldier, infantry, private. I'm not some big general. I'm just a one-on-one, simple. But Maharaj is a real friend to everyone, to be able to reach and touch the lives of so many people, and that includes me. And I know him, not as a scientist, not as a big interfaith. I know him as a friend, as a real older brother, as a real friend that I could take shelter of and express my heart. And he would be right there for me as much time as I needed. And I had free access to him to go in and sit with him when I was really, really needing a friend. And he was always there. And I can never forget that. I can never forget. So I just like to express my eternal love for Maharaj. And I feel so fortunate to be at his feet and with Prabhupada, somehow or other, to remain connected with this family. And I just want to thank everyone here who can appreciate Maharaj, because it takes one to know one. and so, I mean, I'm at the feet of everybody here, and if you can all give me your blessings that I can actually become in his footsteps, that kind of quality person, then that'll be my real success at the feet of everybody who's at his feet. So thank you very much. No. Hare Krishna. Srila Bhakti Swarupa Damodar Maharaj.
Thank you very much. Shortly announcement. So we are just going to Pushpanjali at 2 o'clock. So we have a few more guests only after Vrindavan Prabhu. We have Radharamana Maharaj and Panchagoda Prabhu. Yes. So I will request Rahul to all the Vaishnava, please take it to the start. And otherwise we are running at the time.
Gurave Gaurachandraya Radhikayai Tadalaya Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadabhaktaya Namo Namaha Vanchakalpatrubhyascha Kripa Sindhuvyevacha Paditanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. His Holiness Bhakti Swarupa Damodar Maharaj ki. So we are most fortunate to be assembled here in Vrindavan Dham to observe the divine disappearance, Tirubhav Titi Mahotsav, festival of celebrating the disappearance of Shripad Maharaj. And as we have heard and know, a most wonderful devotee, fully dedicated to serving Srila Prabhupada, his instructions, and also, as we know, there's Vani Seva, which is considered most important to serve the instructions of the spiritual master. But Vapu Seva is also important to serve the spiritual masters, the transcendental personality, in order to be able to be fully connected and get the benefit of his divine association. So His Holiness, he perfectly followed his instructions of his spiritual master Srila Prabhupada by doing this very important service of preaching to the scientists, which is not easy task to do. But he was empowered by Srila Prabhupada, and even from the point of view of the material qualifications, so he was materially qualified to speak to them. But most important is that he was empowered by Prabhupada, by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, by Sri Radha Krishna, due to his purity, due to being a pure Vaishnav. And that has been seen in his personality as he joined the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. Very quickly, he was recognized by Srila Prabhupada and then engaged in this important service of preaching to the scientists, which he did very wonderfully, with great success, as we have heard, and as we have seen by the presentation of his books, which he have written and which we have received. But the even more important aspect of his life, also in my personal experience, are his wonderful transcendental spiritual qualities of a Vaishnava. As it is mentioned in scriptures, 26 qualities are there of a devotee. Most important is Krishnaika Sharanam, that is fully surrendered to Krishna. And we understand not only Krishna, but first of all the spiritual master, because first we have to be surrendered to the spiritual master, to his mission, then to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and then only we can be fully surrendered to Krishna. So he was surrendered to Guru, Gauranga, and Krishna. Therefore he was fully successful in preaching and to the scientists, but also in inspiring many devotees to take up Krishna consciousness, not only from the scientific circle, but in his appearance place, Manipur and surrounding areas. Because of his wonderful Vaishnava qualities, he was able to inspire many jivas to take up Krishna consciousness, and he gave them shelter. But not only Manipur, but as we have heard, actually all over the world he had some disciples. And in Europe, in America, here in India, and he was helping not only his disciples, but anyone who was actually taking shelter of him, anyone who was approaching him, anyone who was associating with him. So I had my personal experience here, as he came quite well. Every year he came to Vrindavan, and then we could see his wonderful Vaishnava qualities, and as he was then especially serving then Srila Prabhupada in his Archa-Vigraha form, in the form of the spiritual master in the Samadhi, as it was at a certain point in the beginning of the Krishna Balaram Mandir, there was always a lack of devotees doing the seva for Srila Prabhupada in the Samadhi, even in the Radha Damodar, and there were less funds. Now we are very fortunate that by the mercy of the Vaishnavas, we have enough devotees, we have enough funds, but in the beginning it was different. There was a struggle. And so the GBC actually appointed certain other GBC members, leaders of the society, spiritual masters, to help by sending money and by coming and sending also their disciples to do the seva of Srila Prabhupada in his murti form, in the Samadhi, even in the Radha Damodar temple. So His Holiness was always actually the most responsible in personally coming here and bringing two disciples and the required funds to do the seva. And then he was usually personally, 2 days he was staying there and showing them, together with the present pujaris here, how to do the seva. And so in this way, being the perfect disciple of Srila Prabhupada, and then in turn, as we know, the Sadhguru usually has also Sat Shishya. And so he's one of them who was able to be fully surrendered by his purity, and then following exactly the instructions of his spiritual master, knowing the heart, knowing the mood of his spiritual master. So that Sat Shishya, then he becomes also then Sadhguru. So those who are transcendently situated. So we can see in his life he was fully transcendently situated, fully dedicated to Srila Prabhupada, and therefore he was able to help many conditioned souls to come to Krishna consciousness. And we can see in his personal life, and even externally speaking, we can see, as Prabhupada Saraswati Maharaj explained, so that he has a place in Radhakund, the beautiful place, which is not easy to get, the Gopal Mandir, and even in Navadvip, so he has a place, temple there. So in this way we can see the spiritual master is actually the representative of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and is a representative of Sri Radha Krishna Jugal. So, and therefore we can see in the practical life, so the residents, even in this present life, so that is the proof that he was fully absorbed in Gaur Lila, and therefore he had a permanent residence even in Navadvip while he was present here, and he had a permanent residence in Radhakund while he was here, and so that is the proof that he is always situated in Gaur Lila and Krishna Lila. And this way, as we chant the Guru Vashtakam, he is able to deliver the disciples from the cycle of birth and death and bring them to this transcendental platform and fully be engaged in devotional service of the Lord. It is 2 o'clock, so the qualities of the great devotees, they are practically, we may say, unlimited. It is not possible to fully describe, but myself had the good fortune of having a few moments of his association, and I deeply appreciate and thank him and pray to him that I may be able to get more of his mercy by remembering him daily, and as it is mentioned in the scriptures, simply by doing Jaikar, simply by saying Jai, Srila Swarupa Damodar, then we actually get his mercy. Srila Bhakti Swarupa Damodar ki, Shrivad Maharaj ki, Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Guru. Can we get your next Radharamana Maharaj? This is so after Radharamana Maharaj, we will end with K.J.S. Pantaguru Prabhu, because he is the Vrindavan president. We will end up with him. So then after that we have Pushpanjali, then Arati, then followed by Prasadam. So I have one request. So during Pushpanjali, please don't throw your flower anywhere. And when they are chanting a pranam mantra, please come in the queue and offer to Maharaj.
Hare Krishna. So today we are celebrating the disappearance day of Srila Bhakti Swarupa Damodar Swami Maharaj. When Pancharatna Prabhu was speaking about him, in general, I want to say Srimad Bhagavatam describes that Yasyasti Bhaktir Bhagavat Kinchana Sarve Guna Tatta Samasate Sura. This is general description about all the if someone develops devotional attitude, devotional service, immediately all good quality, transcendental quality that takes shelter of that personality. So in that sense, Sripad Maharaj, Bhakti Swarup Damodar Swami Maharaj, all good quality, equipped with all good quality. And yes, I was thinking when Pancharatna Prabhu was speaking, in Shastra we hear word Rajarshi, Brahma Rishi, Dev Rishi. Like Narad is called Dev Rishi because he comes from the Dev community, demigods community. Similar way, in our society, Sripad Maharaj, Srila Bhakti Swarup Damodar Swami Maharaj, he was I need some my English editor. Any other word for scientist, a rishi who comes from the scientist community, is there in word? Rajarshi comes from Kshatriya family, that is called Rajarshi, Brahma Rishi. So similar, is there any word? I can take help from my someone become my English editor. What could we say? Similar, like a rishi who came among the scientist community. Scientific sage, that's a nice word. So and besides, he was one of the most significant as well as one of the most dear disciple of Srila Prabhupada. This is the quality. He was completely dedicated in the service of Srila Prabhupada, and Prabhupada likes Sripad Maharaj very nicely. Personally, I have very little encounter with him. Hardly personal level, I never ever got any opportunity to talk with him. However, his kirtan, especially when he was playing the kartal, and towards the end of kartal, his right hand goes with kartal upper towards the sky. And besides that was very nice. Kirtan, as of course from kirtan, though he was a scientist, but very nicely he was singing kirtan, bhajan. Besides, though he was a scientist, but he was very preserving that culture also, especially the culture of Manipur. Of course, Manipur is considered a Vaishnava state. It is prominent. Many Vaishnavas came from there. There are many people there by birth they are Vaishnava. And again, he was very cultural. Manipur dances and the drama. This was So he was one of the most dear disciple of Srila Prabhupada. On this particular day, disappearance day of Srila Bhakti Swarupa Damodar Swami Maharaj, we remember and we ask, we are also praying or bless his blessing so that we also could get some taste in devotional service in bhakti. Srila Bhakti Swarup Bhakti Swarup Damodar Swami Maharaj ki, Srila Prabhupada ki.
Thank you very much. So we'll end up with Panchagoda Prabhu. Then I will go for Pushpanjali. So Pushpanjali will be 3 times. The flower will be given you, so you say for 3 times.
Hare Krishna. Bhakti Swarup Damodar Maharaj ki. So we know in Krishna Leela, Yudhishthira Maharaj, all the Pandavas, they finished their business, and they left this world. Also, Vidura came for a purpose. Great souls come to assist in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission. Bhakti Swarup Damodar Maharaj came. Prabhupada was very enlivened. Morning walks, scientific community, reaching in a different angle, just understand from all points of view, logic, philosophy, reason, and scientific approach. So Bhakti Swarup Maharaj came, went through his activities, assisted Srila Prabhupada to make great headway for the Krishna consciousness movement to help spread Lord Chaitanya's mission. So wonderful soul. Obviously, we didn't want to hear how the whole Yadu dynasty was taken back by Krishna. They finished their business, so Krishna took them. Arjuna finished his business, Yudhishthira Maharaj finished his business, they left. So Bhakti Swarup Damodar Maharaj performed his business, took care of establishing the scientific, philosophical explanation, reasonable for Krishna consciousness. And Srila Prabhupada very much appreciated, was very proud. He would say, oh, yes, we have my disciple, he's PhD, biology. So we're very fortunate to have such sadhus, and we're in good hands under their guidance, so always remain at Prabhupada's lotus feet. Srila Bhakti Swarup Damodar Maharaj ki jai. Hare Krishna.